Well, hi, hello, how you doing? My name is Waldo, and I am here to feel the politics with you. How you doing tonight? How is everybody? Are we prepared? Are we ready? Are we ready to go to war? Is it coming? Is it happening? Is it here? Is it finally happening? Shinsenто, you got everything ready? You got your what do you need to prepare for a civil war?
Doubt.
You doubt? Am I? Is that the new cool
Doubt.
doubt that you're ready, or doubt that we're going? Shinseto, do you want to be our live war reporter? You're in Texas. As the trucks drive by you, you just take some photos, put them up on the
My
Discord.
body's ready for a lot of bluster and campaigning.
All right. You got your your emergency food. You got your bunker set up. You got your bunker beans. You got your baker buckets that you eat the food from and then poop into the bucket. This is what you're gonna need. You're gonna have all of those things ready to go.
I live in my bunker.
You live in the bunker. See, this guy, always ready, always prepared. This guy, look at him, ready to roll, ready to rumble. He's gonna protect what's his. It's gonna be great. What could possibly go wrong? Anyway, I'm just feeling silly because we're gonna go into a civil war. It's fun. Let's do that. That'll be fun. Civil wars are great. That's what I heard anyway. So yeah, today is Monday. I'm gonna
You're never unprepared as everything is an emergency.
You're right, exactly. If everything's a gigantic nightmare problem, then you'll be fine. Just treat everything like the end of the world. Everything is the end of the world. You're always ready. This is great. What could possibly go wrong? Why is your blood pressure so high? Calm down. So yeah, it's Monday. We'll take a look at some headlines, and then we'll play a game, and we'll have our lovely lady Canooch, our Lord and Savior Canooch, can read your messages to me, and it'll be fun. That is the plan. I don't think Thomas is going to be on tonight, but I can double check if he is. I doubt it, but no, he's almost definitely not. I didn't have, what's it called, Discord up. Yeah, he's not in there. That's okay. But you can get in there. You could. If you were watching and you were paying attention and you wanted to get into the Discord, you totally could. It's not hard. You just go right here.
Discord. https discord gg beignet tridx 8.
And then you put links and stories that you want to talk about, and we can feel them together. So if anything pops up during the week or before the stream, you want to talk about it, you think it would be interesting, throw it in there, and we will take a look at it. And the permissions are always wrong, so there's that. And maybe you can link things in chat. I don't have any idea if you can or not. Probably not. I'm not very good at this whole streaming thing. I try. I do it all the time. You'd think I'd be better at it after a year of practice, but I'm not. So pretty crap at it. It's not like it's gonna get better. Maybe it'll get better. The only way you'll know is to subscribe and watch more of it and tell me what I'm doing wrong and the turn of frog gay. And let's get the news going. We gotta click these buttons. Right there, there it is. Ready to go. As border standoff between Texas and feds grows, so does concern over possible violence. See, this is what I'm talking about. Amid the growing standoff between state and federal governments on Texas' southern border, advocacy groups are joining Democrats in a call for the Biden administration to act more forcefully. Hey, you get down there and use more force. But the people on the other side are like, hey, let's take the trucks down there and use more force. So the forces are amassing. It's gonna be fine, right? What could possibly go wrong when people start amassing forces? This is great. This is fine. Nothing is wrong. As the standoff between the state and the federal government of Texas' southern border escalates, advocacy groups are joining Democrats in a call for Biden administration to act more forcefully. Members of the Texas National Guard have blocked the U.S. Border Patrol's access to Shelby Park, which sits on the Rio Grande and was previously for a hot spot for unauthorized crossings in Maverick County. Good God. So glad they have a Maverick County. We'll try a little harder, guys. That's despite a ruling from the United States Supreme Court last week that federal agents should be given access and be allowed to cut the razor wire erected by state officers until the case is finally resolved. Abbott has vowed to stand his ground. He's going to stand his ground. I love those words. Stand his ground. It just gives him a boner. When a Republican says stand their ground, it just perks them right up, man. He ordered more razor wire installed near the Rio Grande after his decision and argued last week that Texas has a right to defend itself against a lawless president who does nothing to stop the external threats. Yeah, no, it's not a threat. It's just such a small threat, really. Honestly, how many of your people can't read? How many of your people don't have insurance, have health insurance? You know. How many of them are poor? Those are threats. Those are bigger threats. How many of them are addicted to fentanyl? That's a threat. Let's see. Through an article in the U.S. Constitution, the razor wire standoff is a byproduct of Operation Lone Star. Again, the names. So good at naming things down there in Texas, they are. A 3-year multi-billion effort Abbott launched to secure the border in light of what he said was Biden's failure to do so. So yeah, this is the crux of the entire thing. Republicans don't actually have a plan. All they have is grievances and complaints and dog whistles. So what they do, instead of like running on their record and all the things that they've done to make your life better, they just cry and scream and yell. And because of that, they create stunts. They create, dick wagging. Yeah. They just create stunts. They create fun situations. And so he's created this win-win scenario. Governor Abbott has a win-win scenario here. Because if Biden does nothing, then Abbott has won, and he gets to declare victory. He gets to claim that he is the victor and he stood up to the government and he's great, and Joe Biden, the Nazi communist terrorist regime, has been thwarted by me, Governor Abbott. Vote for me. Vote for Republicans. That's option number one. Option number two, Biden does anything at all, and in which case Greg Abbott, I called him Gabbett. Greg Abbott, he's also a gun grabber. Yeah, you're right. Don't want to leave that off the list. But if Biden does anything, then Abbott gets to say, oh, well, he oppressed us. That's the Nazi, fascist, gun grabbing, communist Joe Biden coming down on top of us, using his jackbooted thugs to stomp on us and take your rights away. Vote Republican. Just the plan. They don't have any actual policy for you. They don't have a way to make your life better. They don't have anything to do to make your gas prices go down or your traffic go away or laws that affect you. They got no idea what to do about this fentanyl thing, but they love to point the finger. That's all they've got is finger pointing and stunts. And so yeah, well, the stunt comes first and then the finger pointing comes after. So you do something crazy like put up a bunch of barbed wire and then you start pointing fingers. Biden's coming after us. Oh, those Mexicans coming across the border. Hey, we gotta you can't tell, the Supreme Court can't tell us what to do. And then you just point the finger, and that's it. That's the entire Republican Party. That's all they've got. They don't have plans for you. They don't have good ideas. They don't have visions for the future. God, no. Their vision for the future is the past. Republicans' only vision for the future is the past. Take us backward. Go backward. Make America great again, like it used to be when you were young and your dick worked. Just go backwards. You had more hair back then. Put it in R for reverse. You were 20 pounds lighter and you had more hair. Wasn't life greater back then? Your kids liked you. Let's go backwards. All right. So let's see, but don't worry. The truckers are coming to help. So here we go. Take our border back controversy to descend to Texas. Thousands of people will reportedly converge on the southern border this week as part of a convoy seeking to stop migrants illegally entering the U.S. It comes amid Texas escalating feud with Biden administration over immigration enforcement. Last week, Supreme Court, blah, 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 we did this. Now the Take Our Border Back convoy is heading to the border towns in Texas, Arizona, and California to call the government to secure their southern border. The group, which is organizing on the Telegram platform, of course they are, all the best people have been kicked off of Twitter. That's how you know they're good. You can count on the truckers making things worse. You sure can. Has billed the convoy and accompanying rallies as peaceful assembly and prayer. Oh, well, good. They're going to be praying, you guys. Nobody told me that. Shit, this might work. Waldo's in chat. We're praying that doesn't do anything. All right, they're sending their prayers, you guys. We're doomed. Let's see. Calling all active and retired law. Okay. We gotta do the voice. Calling all active and retired law enforcement and military veterans, mama bears, elected officials, business owners, and ranchers, truckers, bikers, media, and law-abiding, freedom-loving Americans. The time is now for we the people to peacefully assemble in honor of our constitutional rights and to call on our government to take action and secure our borders. Well, I bet they park those trucks illegally. You know what I'm saying? Like, I bet they put them in the wrong place. I bet it's illegal for them to put their trucks where they're going to put them. It's so important that people don't cross that line illegally. Let's see. The convoy will then split up for rallies in 3 states. Okay, they're just doing rallies. They're not like putting it alongside the border, are they? Because I mean, the trucks just get robbed and stolen? God's army is rising up. Oh, good. We've all been chosen for this time. This is a biblical monumental moment, and that's been put together by God. All right, I misspelled that. It's supposed to be G-A-W-D. Yeah, G-A-W-D. Goward. There you go. Let's see. Truckers to descend on America next week. I've been informed that there are already thousands of participants planning to attend the Take Our Border Back convoy next week, and truckers from Canada will also be joining. So, oh no, Canadians. I don't know if that's allowed. Didn't they have to cross the border to get here? I'm just saying. It's a trick. It's a trap. I like how they say the peaceful a bunch, and it's a nice cop out if anyone gets violent. It wasn't us. It was Antifa. Yeah, the Antifa will. There are hundreds of Antifa secret agents. I've sent them there because I am, in fact, an Antifa general. And what I've done is I've gathered up all of my Antifa super secret soldiers, and I'm sending them sneaky in there. It's a real Battle of the Bulge kind of thing going on, you know, like they're dressed as truckers. They've got the hats. They got the trucker hats. They're ready to go. I've been growing my sideburns, you see, so that I can fit in with them, and then no one will notice. Hopefully, real sneaky stuff that we got planned here, and then we're gonna agent provocateur, and we're gonna make them get violent. We're gonna convince them that they want to be wild and crazy and start fights and riots and fires and stuff like that, and that'll be fun. And then you are Mr. Antifa. Yeah, it's true. I am an Antifa super general. I have years of experience and thousands, millions even, of super secret agents that can go to work for me in this situation. So if anything goes wrong, it was me. All right, what else have we got other than the truckers coming to save the day? Sure, they'll make everything better. Let's see. Texas. Why is it pronounced that way? Anyway, Abbott encouraging criminal white extremists to come to border. Latino rights group says. Okay, great. Latino civil rights group on Monday accused Governor Abbott of inciting extremists to commit acts of violence amid escalating tensions between Texas and the federal government over border management. Lulac, national president, one that Abbott's rhetoric could incite violent bigots, like the shooter who killed 23 people and injured 22 in El Paso, Walmart 2019. I remember that. False and insightful political rhetoric from Governor Greg Abbott is agitating people to possibly commit acts of violence and mass murder. We urge our members, especially those in Texas, to be on alert for armed out-of-state extremists with hate agenda. Oh no. So that's what they're worried about. I don't think that he's actually called for anybody to do that. I mean, he is creating a media circus. So this has got it right here. Abbott and his supporters are creating a media circus for political gain and to raise money. Yes, that is how Republicans do politics now. They create a media circus for political gain and then to raise money off of it. Yeah, that's the plan. That is all of his. That is what he wants. That is how he will win. But I don't think he's specifically said that anybody should come there to do violence or anything along those lines. So he doesn't want that. He sure doesn't want that, because then the government will have to step in. The feds will have to step in if things start getting crazy, and he doesn't want that. He just wants to look cool. He wants to feel strong. He wants to feel like a big, strong boy, and he can't do that if Joe Brandon is mean to him. Joe Brandon, stop being so mean. Alright. So, what does the goober have to say about this? Donald Junebug Trump ties himself in knots. In knots, you say? On U.S.-Mexico border in brazen political move. Yeah, I don't know. Mr. Trump never completely stopped crossings along the U.S.-Mexico border despite his harsh anti-immigrant policies. It's a lovely bow tie. Let's see. Former President Donald Trump is falsely claiming to have stopped all movement between U.S. and Mexico. He stopped it all. You guys, don't you remember when he totally stopped all of the people moving between that border? He just makes things up and says it. No, that's the problem. Does he act? Okay. So, we're left with a conundrum that we have to figure out. One, Donald Trump has said that he stopped all the people moving from across that border. Completely absurd. Completely impossible. Millions of people cross a day. Now, does he believe that because he said it? Or does he just say the thing, not believing it? Because there's two options. One, he said it just because it sounds like a good message. He tells the people what they want to hear. He doesn't care what it is. He doesn't know he knows it's not true. He just says it because they want to hear it. Possible. Other possibility. He's so deranged that he said it and thought that it happened. That's the one that bothers me. He did this with the trans ban from the military as well. He tweeted, trans people not allowed in the military anymore. And he just kind of went on his way. He thought he did it. He said it. Doesn't really hear what he says. Maybe he's so severely divorced from the things that are happening in his head and coming out of his mouth. You think there's some room filled with the emotional people, like from that Pixar movie, and they're all just screaming and banging on the buttons, and they are not in control of what's coming out? I don't know. No, I think that he actually believes that he said the thing, then the thing happened, and it all went well. I mean, he said we're energy dependent. We weren't. It was nonsense. He just made it up. But he said it, and now everybody else says it too. Be hilarious. Let's get Donald Trump Inside Out. Yeah, Donald Trump Inside Out. Ooh, that could be an entire YouTube series. You have the actual like things that he says, and then you Photoshop his head to be like right here on the camera. Oh, horrible, I know. And then you just put like a screen right there, and then they are all in there, and they're all doing jokes, and then we'll get Jon Stewart to write a few of them, and then they'll all yell at each other and stuff like that, and and then one of them runs around grabbing pussies. I mean, it has to, right? Like, that's the only thing that one little emoji guy does. It's all he does. Is just run around grabbing people's crotches. It's terrible. This is awful. And this is a bad idea, KVP. This is a bad idea. Yeah, Jon Stewart is coming back. I did hear that. I don't know when. What color is the pussy? Well, immediately think pink, right? But what's the on the color wheel? What's the exact opposite? Yellow? Not sure. The complementary color, I think it's called. Sickly green. No, it's orange. Damn it. Orange. Yes. It's the orange one. Yes. Let's. Okay. So what did he say? Mr. Trump took to Truth Social platform on Monday to claim that he had not needed what he described as the big, complex, Democrat-oriented border bill to stop crossings between U.S. and Mexico during his administration. This makes me think, reading that, makes me think that he thought he did it. He thinks he closed the border. No, we still don't have the bill text yet, at least as of the moment. It's still secret, but I've got another link talking about that here in just a minute. Popog, thanks for the question. We are headed that way. Poorly painted orange. Okay, all right, I got you. So he says that he didn't need a big, complex, Democrat-oriented border bill to stop crossings because he didn't stop crossings. He never did. It still happened. Happened all the time. But he thinks he ended it just by waving his hands and saying no more crossings. William Porter is absolutely keeping his secrets. It's true. William Porter is not. He is tight-lipped. You can trust William Porter with a secret. Man, he will keep that shit forever. He also said that he had by far the safest border in the history of our country. during his time in the office because he just closed the border. He says he just did it, you guys. He declared it. Okay, he declared bankruptcy. You know, he can't just say it. No, I declared it. And claimed, without offering any evidence, that the people seeking asylum after surrendering the U.S. Border Patrol were pouring into the U.S. from jails and mental institutions located all over the world. He just declared it. So I'm declaring the U.S. closed. And so it was closed. He did that with the, just like the trans ban in the military. He just declared it. Trans people no longer allowed in the military. He didn't fill out any of the paperwork. He didn't do any of the work. He didn't do any of the big, complex, Democrat-oriented border bills. You know, he didn't do any of the bills, because that's nerd shit. Okay? Donald Trump does not have time for nerd shit, like passing bills through the House and Senate. No, he ain't having it. Ain't nobody got time for that kind of nonsense. What kind of loser passes bills and talks to senators to get them to sign things and vote for stuff? Losers. That's who. He has real shit to do, like closing the actual border. So what have we got? He also said that he had... Oh, wait, I already did that part. It's an invasion! The likes of which no country has ever had to endure. No country has ever had to endure such a thing. It's not sustainable or affordable, he wrote, adding that the situation could only get worse if Mr. Biden were to remain in office. At the same time, Mr. Trump repeated his claim that immigration and asylum reform legislation is unnecessary because he was able to implement widely panned harsh policies during his term, such as forcibly separating parents from the children and prosecute the parents for illegal entry into the U.S. We don't need to pass laws because you can just do things, says Donald Trump. Kept the executive branch and legislative branch as far apart as possible. Yeah, we don't need to pass laws about these kinds of things when you can just do it. You can just say the thing, you can just make a declaration, and you don't need to pass a law. I love how this guy operates. And this is and I know Thomas isn't here to defend himself, but I was editing the video from the other day, and he said he liked the way Donald Trump ran the executive. This is how he did it, just by declaring things and saying that that's true. And I don't want to pick on him since he's not here, but that's what he said. He said, I like the way Donald Trump ran the executive, by just declaring things and saying things and doing whatever he wanted. So that is the thing that I don't like about Donald Trump, is that he's not interested in passing legislation or doing laws. He just says the things and expects everybody to do it. And then when it doesn't get done because it's illegal, or they don't have actual laws or things laid out, it gets confusing and no one knows what to do. That's a different position, Popog. You like it because nothing got done. Hey, look, guys, Popog's a small government conservative. Yeah. Small government conservative wouldn't want the government to do things. So maybe that's a position. Maybe that's why the conservatives don't like him, because he doesn't accomplish anything. Is that the other Trump strategy? When you're confused, blame a Democrat? Maybe, I don't know. So let's look at this one. What is this? Speaker Mike Johnson calls Ukraine immigration deal dead on arrival in the House. I think this one mentioned there is something. Geez, stupid website. Didn't work. All right. McConnell's bedeviled as Trump GOP move goalposts on the border. Trump should change parties, then he could blame all his failures on the Democrats. Damn. Double reverse. Let's see. Mitch McConnell has made supporting the war in Ukraine a signature policy priority, but his efforts have been complicated by fellow Republicans, including former President Trump, who are moving the goalposts on the issues. McConnell appeared to be on solid footing when he told President Biden, the Treasury Secretary, in phone calls before Thanksgiving, that Biden's funding request for Ukraine would not pass the Senate without a credible border solution. Without a credible border solution, we cannot pass the Ukraine bill. I made it clear to both of them that we have to have a credible solution to the wide open border in order to get a bill across the Senate floor. I hope they understood the message. I'm glad you guys got that. I was like, how long do I hold this for? The political situation, the situation has drifted, sir. Well, that's I was trying to make fun of him when he froze. Remember that time he totally rebooted and shut down. Not a stroke. Didn't have a stroke. Nope. 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 Situation has drifted. The political situation has drifted. I think that's a nice way of saying Trump shit on your plans. The big reason is Trump, who in the interim has won the Iowa caucuses, New Hampshire primary, tightening his grip on the GOP. The Republican senators say Trump is now telling GOP lawmakers he wants to deny President Biden victory and run on the issue, a motivation that Senator Mitt Romney on Thursday blasted as appalling. Don't do the thing that we want because we need Trump to run on it. Don't pass a bill because we need Trump to run on it. They don't care about the country. They don't care about what happens. They don't care about what's happening. This is just political football for them. Let's see. Tom Tillis says, if we fail to get this passed, I'm going to file exactly the same bill if Trump wins and we have a majority in the Senate. I'll guarantee you that everybody who's against it, it's all about politics and not having the courage to respectfully disagree with President Trump and tell him this will help him. He has requested it before. So yeah, this guy's accidentally saying the thing that you're not supposed to say. He's saying, hey, listen, this is good for Republicans. And the Republicans get to make all the, they get to frame everything anyway. If they get what they want, they get to, run on, they got the thing they want. Hey, we got that thing we wanted. If they don't get it, then they get to run about how terrible Biden is and he won't give us what we want. They could do it anyway, but I don't love the bill that we can't even look at. Let's see if we can find it. So Trump complained at the time that the caravans of illegal migrants were drawn to the country by Democrat-backed laws and left-wing judicial rulings that tied his hands as president. It's a disgrace that we had to put up with it. 5 years after the action against Congress, saying without emerging bill is insufficient and calling Republicans to reject it without seeing all of its details. So yes, without seeing all of its details. Popog, we still don't know what's in the thing. I do not think that we should do a border deal at all unless we get everything needed to shut down the invasion of millions and millions of people, Trump wrote on Truth Social. That's an insane sentence, and you'll never get everything you want, which means he'll just cry and whine and hate about it. Yeah, drama. You're right, KVP. Drama llamas. Let's see. Human blobfish Ted Cruz said that there is a crisis at our border. We cannot remain idle as the Customs and Border Patrol works tirelessly to protect our border. Congress needs to do its job and provide CBP the support they need. Wait, Trump said an insane hyperbolic sentence? How peculiar. I know, somebody check on him. That is unusual for him. He's never done such a thing before. It's open border obstruction, no votes. You can come up with the greatest border plan, the greatest immigration plan. You won't get one vote from a Democrat, Trump said 5 years ago. What? No. What? It's just that your plans are so bad, Donnie. They really are, if they exist at all. I don't think they ever exist. Stunts. That's all he has. Maybe 5 years ago he had a plan. I doubt it. But he probably could have hired somebody to put together a plan. I don't know. So there was another one here. Here we go. What do we got? Oh, get out of here, ads. No one wants you. There we go. Trump House Republicans plot to kill the border deal. So they are just Trump, whose front-runner status in the Republican presidential race has solidified his leadership's GOP, and has loudly vowed to kill the bipartisan border deal. It's not going to happen, and I'll fight it all the way. You are just telling us it's super important that we get this thing done. We have to have something, but not that. Do something, government. No, not like that. And let's see. What else do we have? Okay, let's finish up. Let's wrap up the border talk. I don't think that this will lead to a hot conflict. I really don't think it will. I don't think at the moment this is going to lead to a civil war. What I think is going to happen is Greg Abbott is going to do nothing else. Biden is going to do nothing because that would only exacerbate things. So Biden will do nothing. Greg Abbott will do nothing. And Greg Abbott will do that thing that I described earlier and declare victory. He will simply say, I did it. I fought the feds and I won. Vote for me. Vote Republican. That is his plan. And he's hoping that nothing goes wrong. He doesn't want those truckers there. He doesn't want more people to show up. He doesn't want militias coming down and watching the place. He doesn't want any of that. He wants to talk tough, then look into the camera and talk about how great and smart he is. That's what he wants to do, because all politicians are secretly dream of being live streamers, all of them. So that's my guesstimate at the moment, that they will talk big, nothing happens, it blows over. So that's good, I guess. I suppose that's a good ending. It's the best ending I think we can get, because we've got to waste a bunch more time on things like this, the important things. So, retired Republican judge, absolutely damning evidence in the new bid to bar Trump from the Illinois ballot. So Illinois is trying to boot him off as well. The preponderance of evidence shows that Trump engaged in insurrection, election officer says. A hearing officer for the Illinois State Board of Elections, in a recommendation released Sunday, determined that Donald Trump spearheaded an elaborate plan to interfere with the transfer of power following the 2020 election electoral defeat. Retired Republican Judge Clark Erickson, now that's a very Republican name, Clark Erickson, cited absolutely damning evidence in the report authored in response to push for a former president to be removed from the state primary ballot for engaging in insurrection. But Erickson concluded that the elections board doesn't have the power to give Trump the boot, instead saying the issue should be deferred to the courts. Yeah, that's not a surprise. Does not dispute that he knew violence was occurring in the Capitol. He understood that people were there to support him. Said that Mike Pence had a lack of courage in refusing to axe electoral votes for Joe Biden is absolutely damning to the denial of Trump's role in the insurrection. Trump knew the attacks were occurring because the attackers believed his claims the election was stolen, and this tweet could not possibly have had any other intended purpose beside to fan the flames. Yeah. So this guy has looked at reality, weighed it, measured it, figured out what everybody was talking about, and made it a guesstimate. Ballot removing is such a bad idea. No, I don't think it is. I think it's fine. Especially if it's states' rights, right? How are Republicans going to go against that? If the state says you did the thing and we don't want you on our ballot, they have the right to do that. Hey, we read the Constitution and it seems like you broke it. You don't get to run here anymore. That sounds very, very American. If Donald Trump had illegally, what's the smallest felony that we can think of? What's like the smallest felony you can do? If he had he had 1 ounce of pot in Texas, that's a felony, and then he would never be allowed to run again. Think about that for a minute. In my house right now, there's enough pot to send a brown kid in Texas to jail for the rest of his life. Okay. If he tore off the mattress tag, right, he would have done a felony, and he would not be allowed to run in any way, shape, or form. Felons aren't allowed to vote or run for office. Also, you can run for president as a felony. Shit, I think you're right. I think it's voting, right? If you can't vote if you're a felon, ugh, I don't like the system. Felons aren't allowed to vote. Okay, I'm just talking shit. Yeah, I am. I'm all over the fucking road. Yeah, I know. Some of them are trying to get their rights back, their voting rights back, and stuff like that. And that's a different political issue. But yeah, yeah, you're right. I still think it's a good idea. I've just made a bad analogy. Debate the 14th Amendment if you want. I don't want to debate the 14th Amendment, but I will turn the lady on here in just a minute, and we can play video games and think about it. What other things do we have? Oh yeah, we have another hot war to talk about, you guys. You ready? What is Tower 22, the military base that was attacked in Jordan where 3 U.S. troops were killed? So see, we've got more wars to go into. We can't waste time with the Civil War when we have an Iran war to deal with. In a little discussed U.S. military desert outpost in the far reaches of the northeastern Jordan has become famous for its focus on international attention after a drone attack killed 3 American troops and injured at least 34 others there. The base, known as Tower 22, sits near the demilitarized zone on the border between Jordan and Syria along a sandy, bulldozed berm marking the DMZ's southern edge. The Iraqi border is only 10 kilometers away. The area is known as Rukban, a vast arid region that once saw a refugee camp spring up at the Syrian side over the rise of the Islamic State group's so-called caliphate in 2014. At its height, over 100,000 people lived there, blocked by Jordan from coming across to the kingdom. At the time, the concerns about infiltration and extremist group concerns grew out of the 2016 car bomb, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Let's see. Base location offers site for American forces to infiltrate and quietly leave Syria. No problems there, right? That'll be fun. U.S. troops long have used Jordan, a kingdom bordering Iraq, Israel, and Palestine, territory of the West Bank. Yep, some 3,000 American troops typically are stationed across Jordan. see. However, the U.S. presence in Jordan risks angering the population that's already held mass demonstrations against Israel's war on Hamas and Gaza Strip over civilian casualties in a conflict that's already killed 26,000 Palestinians. Estimates suggest that 3 million of Jordan's 11.5 million people are Palestinian. So they've got quite a few there already. Okay. This is a dumb idea, and I hope we don't start bombing people because of it. Widespread unrest could threaten to the rule of King Abdullah II, an ally. Okay, so yeah, I don't want... These are more of those Iranian-backed militants. I don't want them to bomb American soldiers, obviously, but I don't think we need to just bomb everybody because of this. Okay, so yeah, we don't want to go to war over this. Really don't. I think we've done a good job so far with the bombing of the Houthis. That's a good idea. Figure out who these militants are and bomb them. Fine. It's war. That's how it works. You kill our guys, we kill your guys. Tomorrow you'll kill our guys and we'll kill your guys. It'll be over again. I think that is the... I don't think this is going to put us into a war with Iran. I hope it doesn't. But even if we did go to war with Iran, I think that would be Donald Trump's fault for destroying the Iran deal. Again, I talk about it almost every week. Obama and John Kerry put together a really nice bit of diplomacy so that we could possibly take the very first step in being allies with Iran. But it had Obama's name on it, so it had to go. Donald Trump tossed it out, threw it away, and said, we will never be your ally. So now now, why would they act like one now? So they're against us, obviously. So now they're paying for those people, they're paying for those militants, they're buying them weapons, they're buying them stuff so that they can hurt us. That's what they're going to do for the rest of forever, because we couldn't just accept a little bit of diplomacy with them. And I think that this is exactly why we need diplomacy, so that this kind of shit doesn't happen. Diplomacy could have prevented this, but we're not allowed to do diplomacy while Donald Trump is involved. Only large stunts. Drop a bomb, kill Soleimani. You know, that's a big stunt. Okay, here's why we can't see the border bill. It literally doesn't exist. It's just meeting notes from the subcommittee. That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, so it's not... So whatever they suggest, could it have really, though? Wasn't Iran skirting the limits of the deal and progressing its program the whole time? Well, they would be in the deal with us. We would have leverage over them rather than just bombs. Is it possible that through diplomacy they try and cheat and skip and do some stuff? Yes, but then we cut back the benefits that they're getting from that thing. What's the leverage? Their money, their trade. We lift sanctions on them. We give them certain privileges and stuff like that, and then they lose all that if they continue to feed these militants. If they continue to buy weapons for these militants, then we can say, hey, this looks like it came from you. All right, we're going to cut you off a trade if you keep this shit up. Maybe they wouldn't do that. Maybe if there were more cost-benefit analysis, if they did a cost-benefit analysis and they'd make more money and be more profitable by being our ally, they would. Most countries aren't highly ideological. They're sometimes practical. Hey, we make a lot more money if we go this way. Seems like they'd win even if they cheat. Maybe. Worst case scenario, yeah, they play the game with us and they cheat, but we'd still catch them, hopefully. And then maybe they'd figure out what the bounds are, and we could have something to... Having more things to leverage on them and still have the bombs would be two discussions to have. We have the discussion on what sanctions we want to get rid of them and how we want to prevent them economically and stuff like that. And then if you keep doing it, we'll drop bombs. But we're past that first part now. We're only bombs now. There is only one choice. There's only one way, and that has been the only way. Whereas way less rational, being a theocratic fascist regime and all. I don't think so. I think they still worship the almighty dollar just like everybody else. A country runs on money, and it's a capitalist planet, and they recognize that. The theocratic fascist regimes of Muslims they're capitalists. They do that theocratic fascism stuff to control their people. They don't do it themselves. I mean, all the Saudi princes are blatantly, shockingly capitalistic. They do whatever they want, whenever they want. and then pay to have the things their way. You know, they're not Muslims. They drink and eat baconators anytime they damn well feel like. It's the proles. It's the lower class that have to follow all them Muslim rules. And that is it for the news tonight. Tell me what you guys are thinking. Tell me what you're feeling. If I'm turning Canooch on right now. Batra, hit that button, hit this button, and Canooch should be here. And are you there, Canooch?
Canooch.
There she is. The Saudi short with the Ayatollah seems like a true maybe. But is he the one making all the decisions? I bet he's their figurehead. I don't know enough about him. Is he literally authoritarian leader of king from the 1800s making all the decisions, or does he have like an entire class of people in Iran? I mean, they have elections, they have a middle class, they have government. I think that they have enough say in what's going on to suggest that it isn't just one guy making all the choices. Very thirsty tonight. We had pizza, and so I'm like dehydrated. So, all right, I'm starting up Steam, and we'll play a video game. Death Must Die. So if you're here, if you're paying attention, if you're watching, pop in the chat, have Canooch read your message for you, and tell us how you feeling. Bring up any politics stuff that you can think of, and if you got anything
Slots.
to talk about,
The
we'll play
result is
slots.
at KBP 24. Sorry, keep trying. You lost 50 points.
Poor guy, you lost 50 points. If you want to be cool like KBP, you can go to the kick.
Canooch Danuch.
Canooch Danuch. Go to kick, click the buttons. Every time you chat in kick, it gives you 5 points. I might be able to turn that on for Twitch. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to try and get it to work for Twitch as well. Okay, where did my mouse go? Oh, jeez. This game. Okay, we're going to go there. We're going to turn off the window capture and turn on the game capture. Right? And then we go game capture. There it is. And it pops on, and there it is. We can make it a little bit bigger, maybe. There we go, yeah. Okay, go there. And then I have to bring all this stuff back up. So all the chats have to come back.
From my limited understanding of Iran's internal politics, he's more like old king than modern king, but with a modern parliament to do the actual busy work of governing.
Okay. I might have to go to the Wikipedia page and read something about them and how much like actual authority that guy has. Because if he is got all of the authority, then maybe they are a little bit more of an authoritarian dictatorship, that theocratic dictatorship than I thought they were. Let's see. We're going to turn on one of these, but which one? Minions have 0% damage in the last 3 minutes? Oh, that's not... Well, if I don't do a minion build, I wouldn't even notice. Enemies have +2 extra projectiles. Oh god, I hate that. Elite enemies have a percentage of area. Elite enemies have 0 movement. Okay, +30 movement. So how much until it really gets kicking? Well, let's not do all of it. There's one. There's another. Okay, we're at 3 skulls. Okay, and this is additionally each point increase the stats of all death's minions. Alright. Alright. Let's see if we got anything. Equipment. Junk. Oh, that's a journal. I gotta put that in the thing. Let's just put it in the bank.
Good choices.
And do it later. We'll just move this stuff over. Oops. Is there a shift click? Nope. We'll deal with these later. It's white. It's junk. Because I don't really care about any of the other characters at the moment. Except for the...
He can veto any law and remove or appoint any ministers or judges.
Okay. And does he? Staff of Power. Lower damage or attack damage. Summon damage goes down. It's the same. Nah, this is fine. Alright, let's get in there. Alright. You've got skeletons in your closet. Death. I like the time one. Warp Strike is a good one. Because it bounces. Look at it bounce. Look at it bounce. Not quite as good as chain lightning, but still pretty good.
can be a bit depressing.
According to Wiki, he makes the final decisions on the economy, environment, foreign policy, and everything else in Iran.
Well, shit. I don't like that.
And also filled the government with his loyalists.
Oh, well, shit. I don't like that. This sounds like a bad plan. Can we do something about that? No? Can't do shit about that. Because what we don't want is the CIA doing a crazy, difficult war to get rid of him. More depth off for sure. Regime change. We don't want that. I don't like that. That's a bad call. We'd have to make some sort of deal with them, man. Spell damage increased. We'd have to do some diplomacy. Those middle class guys, those middle government guys might eventually get tired of his bullshit. If they could be playing video games and watching Twitch and cruising YouTube and eating McDonald's, maybe they'd turn on him. Chain lightning, always the correct answer. I mean, what other option is there? Just be...
I agree, capitalism is based.
Yeah, it is better than the previous system, and it is better than a religious... what was the word? Theocratic fascism or theocratic ruling? Yeah, capitalism is better than theocracy. I agree. I often complain about capitalism all the time. It is a thing that I do. Usually when Thomas is around. But it's because I want to move beyond it. We've had all the capitalism we can stand. We have gotten as nice and as good and as perfect as we can with capitalism, and we need to move on to the next thing. We need to digivolve. Okay? We have gotten everything we can out of it. We've level grinded. We've grinded all the levels we can. On this level, we need to move on to the next. That's a nice one. Or, again, level random blessing for 45 seconds. Nope, we'll do this one. Maybe I haven't explained that to Thomas well enough. Because I do complain about capitalism a lot. But it's because I think we can do better. And they haven't gotten to that stage yet. So they can have the capitalism, they can have the blue jeans, they can have the rock and roll and the peanut butter. And in another 20 years, they can be like, hey,
there is no beyond capitalism, at least that anyone's come up with. Socialism is just economic feudalism with a coat of paint.
Nah, socialism is the next stage. Even good old Karl Marx said that socialism can only come from a liberal democracy. You have to have a liberal democracy first. When what's his name? The Chinese, when Mao was trying to force his subsistence farmers to start producing pig iron to become a modern post-capitalist socialist state, he did a bad job. That's not the way to go.
I think you should clearly define what you mean by capitalism. What we have in America with corporate lobbyists isn't an ideal form of capitalism.
It's the end state of capitalism. It's where capitalism leads you. It is the end point of capitalism. We're at the end of capitalism, is what I'm saying. It either changes to something else, or it stays exactly as it is today with the corporate lobbyists that Pokerface is talking about. Or
hey, at iPokerface.
Everybody say, hey.
Long time no see.
At iPokerface so that you can make a Canooch. Say iPokerface many, many times. That complaint that Pokerface is making about capitalism is an apt one and
I was
an acceptable
busy at
one.
the Trump rally.
Were you selling hats or shirts or something? Your attack shoots one more projectile. You can steal 300 damage or might wider area.
My rafflecopter goes soy.
It doesn't let you do the thing over and over again. I apologize. Trail of fire becomes an expert. Meteor shower goes up. Dash leaves a path of fire. More meteor showers. That seems to be working. Oh, it's slime time. Let's go slimes.
Does she do Unicode ISO?
ISO. I don't know.
Just went out of curiosity, met the AR-15 church people and went wild 6 beers and yelling Trump with the crowd.
Oh, yeah? That sounds like a time.
Soy.
Need a light.
No, she doesn't do the Unicode, it seems. And we figured out, yeah, that it's the apostrophe T that's goofing her up. So, throw apostrophe T words into the chat so you can make her sound silly. But that's why we love you, Canooch. Evasion, pick up
How
Trump.
does she do with Zalgo? I am not a Trump supporter, though I am voting Biden, but I wore all the merch, felt like I was LARPing.
You were sneaking in there. You one of my Antifa super secret secret agents. Antifa secret agent. Don't out yourself. Agent I poker face. I did at the beginning of this stream claim to have millions of Antifa secret agents.
You must be doing something right if I'm sticking around. It isn't in my nature to stick around.
He likes me. Chain lightning. Speed cooldowns are faster. That's kind of nice too, but they're white. Blues are better. Come on.
Death's actions are an insult.
Force goes up. Shard pull area. Shard base damage goes up. Percent of experience points in shard to bonus damage. Huh. Warp strike. Yeah, let's just make damage go up. Campfires are good. Oops, almost got me. Chain lightning or lightning bolt and lightning orbs. You gotta get all of them, right? Lightning bolt.
But anyway, Marx seems to be basically wrong in his premise, since no capitalist democracies ever successfully had a revolution of the proletariat.
Well, not yet. Not with that attitude. He was making a prediction. It just hasn't happened yet. I believe in us. I think we can do it. And we'll call it capitalism too. The recapitalizing. It'll be great. We'll just sell it the right way.
You doing all right there?
Oh, I should have taken haste, but it was white. Come on. Blues are better. Yeah.
The GOP is kind of selling the border standoff as an uprising.
Yeah, but that's the horrible, degenerate people coming from outside to steal your country from you, according to them.
It's been late-stage capitalism for like 100 years now.
Nah, we didn't get to late stage still. I
Gamble
don't think
100.
so.
At KBP 24 dice roll result 3, you got half of the bet back.
There have been people talking about late stage capitalism for a while, but I think we are at it right now. But that's just me. When like most of the economy seems to just be scamming people left and right. I mean, the biggest places to get your money is just scams. Millennials and Gen Zs won't even answer their phone every time it rings. Or any time it rings, they won't answer their phone because the other person on the other end is just going to take their money. Every time my phone rings, it's somebody who wants
You
money.
may not think so, but Werner Sombart thought so in his magnum opus Der moderne Kapitalismus, and who are you to argue with him?
Well, he is German, so he can't know that much. He's so smart, how come he's German? Werner Sombart thought someone's magnum opus. So when did he write that? When did he make that? Suggesting that we were at the end of capitalism. I assume that's what he's saying.
You know, good point.
Force bumped up again. Warp strike. I hate time field. It's red. Bump it up to level 2. Got it.
Join the Discord to send links and suggestions. https discord gg beignet tridix 8.
Thank you, Kanuch. Beignet Tridix 8 is our Discord concierge. Takes care of all the messages for us.
Bennett Tridix.
Spell durations are increased. Game XP. Blessing. Let's do the durations. There'll be more fire on the ground.
1902-ish, but Wiki isn't most clear because it says he defined late capitalism as starting after World War I, and I feel like he couldn't have done that in 1902.
Yeah. Okay, so he's suggesting that after World War I, we entered late stage capitalism. Yeah, and it's a fair argument that nobody really knows when late stage capitalism will start until after it's over. Maybe it goes on exactly. Maybe it just gets worse and worse and worse over the next 30 years, and then we try to evolve into something else. Gem High, I do like Gem High, but I don't think that the capitalism as we have it now is the end. I think new systems will have to be figured out and put into place, and hopefully they're done slowly and methodically and properly. I mean, that's what what's his name? The little Asian feller that wants to do UBI. What was his name? I don't remember. Make America Think Harder. MATH, math on his hat. I forget his name. But he is suggesting exactly
Andy
that.
Angerstein.
Andy Angerstein. That's him. Andy Angerstein is suggesting exactly that we are at late stage capitalism. We need to transition to something else. And his idea was UBI, which is not a good plan. I mean, it's a plan, but I think
Andy
it has
Yang.
flaws. Yeah, that's the guy. Andy Angerstein. But yeah, and I think he's right that things can't go on as they are. I mean, automation's taking over, and it's only going to make more and more and more jobs obsolete. As soon as McDonald's can get the robots to flip
That's
the
his
burgers.
government name. All his friends say to call him Andy Angerstein.
That's his mom calls him Andrew Yang, but all the cool kids call him Andy Angerstein. Attack speed at 15. I do like that. And I think he's got a point there that things can't quite go on quite as they are now. Being half of the politics is just about fear and division and
So
making
here's the
everybody angry
problem
at
with
each
the
other.
idea of transitioning to something else. Nobody else has a proposal for a system which can systemically induce progress.
Well, what do you say progress is? If you ask a capitalist what progress is, that means progress is their bank account going up. If you ask the economist that's on CNBC at night what progress is, that's the increasing of the Dow. You know, make the number go up, and it will go up
Progress is when
forever.
computer chips get smaller or drug manufacturing gets cheaper.
Okay, so that's where you're suggesting progress is, but I'm thinking that progress comes from people having more freedom and being less an economic cog. You know, the more freedom the people have is progress to me. It depends on what you want to progress. If you want to progress the economy, you push for liberal economics and you push for the stock market to go up, and you give investors all the most important decisions, and they will make the decisions that make their bank accounts bigger and their stock numbers go up, and they'll call that progress. If you're suggesting progress is when computer chips and drug manufacturing gets cheaper, I'm on board with that, and I think that's not going to happen if Elon Musk is in charge. You know what I mean? Elon Musk is not progressing these things. And he's in charge because he has the most money. He's not in charge because he has the best ideas. He barely understands how code works. You know, he thinks code's going to save everything in the world. But that's a person who doesn't understand code right there. Most coders that I've ever spoken to recognize that code is barely held together. You know, they barely know how it works, even if they're experts. The more they know about it, the
Capitalism
more, like,
systemically induces the type of progress I am talking about.
for the past 100 years, it has. Has it? Is it still doing that today? I'm not sure it is. I don't think it is. I think we've reached the end of what good capitalism can do, because none of the good capitalists, the capitalists that are in charge today, aren't doing the good capitalism. They're not doing that progress. They're doing fucking Twitter. That is what the shitification of the internet. You know, that's what they're doing. They're turning the internet and much like iPhones into planned obsolescence. You know, we all know that our iPhones have planned obsolescence. We know this. We don't like it. Could they build one that would work forever? Yeah, of course they could. You just wouldn't need another one every couple of years. So they plan that obsolescence. I'm thinking that the social media platforms have planned obsolescence built right into them. That's why Twitter is failing right now. That's why YouTube will go through an acidification, just like everything else. And it's on a longer glacial time scale, but they have the same planned obsolescence. And that planned obsolescence will not produce new things. It will produce a new hot thing that we all jump on and love for a couple of years. Then it'll sell the ads to make the most money. Then it'll sell it'll oversell the ads. Everybody will hate it. It'll get people addicted to it. Then it'll sell, and then the people who own it will abandon it and collect all the money they can for selling the stock, and then they'll go and make something else, and then that thing will crumble and fall apart and die and because what's his name? Jack Dorsey has left Twitter, made as much money as he can from it, and now he's making Blue Sky, which will be exactly the way Twitter was. And Twitter falls and crumbles and falls apart. And I think that is the eternal thing that happens at the end of capitalism. At the end of capitalism, that will just be the entire bubble, boom and bust, bubble and burst plan. That will be what everyone works towards. And it might be a very long time before we get tired of that. But I think we will get tired of it.
But that's the beautiful thing. Elon bought a useless piece of shit social media platform, and he's going to lose all that money. A beautiful punishment for a stupid decision. Capitalism part's a fool.
Capitalism part's a fool with his money quite well. A social system in which 40 billion of my money went into Twitter just to get more money, make the next mistake. A socialist system wouldn't buy Twitter. But socialism doesn't suggest that we own Twitter. No, 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 no. There, you start off with simple things like market socialism. That's what I'm pushing for at the moment.
Elon's money went to smarter people who can put that money into smaller chips and cheaper drugs.
No, his money didn't go into any of that. His money went into buying stock that was now worth less money. So those people, maybe they kept it. I mean, he bought shares, right? And those shares were worth this much money. And then he bought them, and they come down and down and down. And then he starts making decisions. They come down and down and down. And then he makes more decisions. They come down and down and down again. So he gave a bunch of money for a stock or a share that was then worth less than it was before. He didn't. Did he give that money to a smarter person who can turn the money into smarter chips and smaller chips and cheaper drugs?
Yeah,
Hopefully.
he gave me money for my Twitter stock, and I put that money into smaller chips and cheaper drugs.
I hope. And you put that into a stock, it may work out, and it might work, but it might not. And if you, Popog, are the apex of investors, you will put that money into the smaller chips and the cheaper drugs, and then those things will become popular, and they'll become big, and they'll become great, and they'll become very valuable, and then Elon Musk or someone like him will buy out that company and buy your stock in those companies, and then you will leave with even more money, and then he'll run it into the ground again. I think this running it into the ground is the bit I'm not real thrilled about. I think that is the future of business. And that's why I'm considering it the end of capitalism, or the end state of capitalism. And we might stay in this end state for a very long time. I mean, it might be a whole nother generation where we stay inside this system. I'm suggesting that we should try to plan the next thing, starting with something like decommodify healthcare. That's where I would start with the whole socialism bit. I'm not suggesting we rearrange
He can
everything.
run it into the ground as many times as he wants. He'll still be here holding up every dollar he gives him for smaller chips and cheaper drugs. That is a systemic incentive structure.
Until he runs it into the ground too many times, or 7 more people start running companies into the ground. If there were 10 more Elon Musks around, each buying a different company, you at the apex, Mr. Popok, might actually become incredibly wealthy because of that. Because they see all the smart choices that you've made and buy those things out and then run them into the ground. At some point, everything will be in the ground and we won't be able to get back up. At some point, we will run a little low on resources. Or we'll need something important to happen, like, say, with climate change, and all the smart people have given up or aren't able to get the things done. Did you watch that movie, what was it, which was the one about Don't Look Up? I think Don't Look Up was a...
When everything is in the ground, that means I have all the money, so he'll start giving that money directly to smart people to make smaller chips and cheaper drugs.
Nah, it'll be too late. They won't be able... They'll knock your walls down and eat you, because we've entered Mad Max territory. What good is your money going to do when Immortan Joe is banging on your door? I am exaggerating a little bit. But that is my view of it. We can only go two different directions or staying the same. So there's the Star Trek future or the Mad Max future. And then there's the current state that we're in that might last a very long time. We might be in this state for a little while, but I can only see us going those two directions. We get to space socialism where everybody has all the rights and the good stuff.
But seriously, what's the alternative systemic incentive structure?
Systemic incentive structure. You still have a job. You still have money. There is still a market of things that you want. Start slow. Build people into it slowly with the decommodification of healthcare. Decommodify all of healthcare. And then, after a few years of that, after everybody's okay with the idea, you start decommodifying something else, like housing. If you want a skateboard, you still have to have the money to buy one. I'm not saying that I'm not suggesting that we go into a full-on communist state where you have to put in a request to the government to get a skateboard, and then they will weigh whether or not you get one, and then determine whether or not you're allowed to have one, and then give everybody one skateboard that was built by the government. I'm not going that far. I'm not suggesting that is the way we ought to operate. But start small, decommodify a thing, and then decommodify another. And if we screw it up, if we do a really bad job, we put the car in R, we elect some Republicans, and they drive us backwards if things go wrong. But the answer to the systemic incentive structure, that is a problem for 3 generations
Okay, the year
from now.
is 20xd6. Healthcare is decommodified. What is the systemic incentive structure which makes drug manufacturing cheaper?
That makes drug manufacturing cheaper? Okay. At this point, there is no, it's decommodified, which means it's all made for, it's all made at scale. The government puts together grants and stuff like that and says, hey, who wants to make a new drug to solve this problem? Who wants to cure these things? The scientists will still do it, and they will still be paid to do so, but it won't be investors telling them to do that. The government would be the investor, and that government would make decisions based on what the people want. So if the people say, hey, we want a fucking COVID medication, then the government will, oh yeah, well, the people want a fucking COVID medication, so they will pay people who are working on that, scientists who are working on that. The scientists will be paid to work. And the ones who are good at it will get a bonus, and if they come up with something else, they'll name it after themselves, and they'll get to have, Nobel Prizes, if they do a really good job. The market will still exist. I will still have to pay for video games. And in paying for those video games, I will have to have a job. The more tied something is to you being alive, the less I'm okay with somebody profiting from it. You know, I don't want somebody to commodify oxygen. You know, it was the joke in Spaceballs. Hey, here you got $1, you get some air. I don't think that's a good idea. And so I don't think that commodifying things like insulin are acceptable. I would prefer the government to literally build a factory.
What you're describing as a healthcare does not create a systemic incentive structure of improvement.
It does not create a systemic incentive structure of improvement. As far, maybe it will. We don't know. We've never tried. And if it fails spectacularly, we put the car in R.
She doesn't like the word monopsony.
She doesn't like the word monopsony, unless you're, I don't know, she just did it. That's weird. Canooch, you silly bitch.
Weird.
And this is probably like an entire generation's work. You know, this isn't like a thing that pops off in 5 minutes.
Oh, it's because I had it twice in a row with a period between.
She thought you were spamming. Yeah. I mean, are we not getting kind of close to the end of the good that capitalism can do in medical work anyway?
I'm hot.
Most of the medical breakthroughs we're having are in boner pills, you know, or dog shit, or it's not dog shit, but it's incredibly complex
You
pills.
mean, are we getting to the end of medicine?
No, I'm not saying we're getting to the end of medicine. I'm saying we're getting to the end of the good that capitalism can do for medicine. If there's no money to be made, the people won't make it. if AstraZeneca can't sell the pill to someone, they're not going to research it if they can't have a return on investment. So they charge wild amounts of money for this pill after it's been figured out, and they're more interested in just making boner pills. They're more interested in just making, playing with the price of insulin, the thing that they know how to make and is cheap and they can do
Most
anytime they want.
pharmaceutical companies spend more in stock buybacks than they do R&D.
Good point,
Life
Shincinto.
is strange. I work at a hotel, and when COVID spread, it spread quickly. Everyone got it from the manager, who let their guard down a bit due to being vaccinated.
Excellent point. Velderain the Based. Thanks for coming in. First time chatter. Why was he at work? Because he needed that money. That manager who was there had to be there and had to be making that dosh, or else he wasn't going to make his rent. So I think we're getting to the point where the drug companies like that, AstraZeneca, are spending, like Shincinto said, they're spending so much on stock buybacks because it's all about branding now. It's not about the latest drug that you've created, it's about branding the ones that you have. All insurance companies, car insurance companies, work off the same data. They all, have you noticed that all of them tell you how much you're going to save by switching to them? Switch to Progressive and save $600. Switch to Geico and you'll save $600. You'll save this, you'll save that. It's nonsense. It's all branding. That's why they work so hard on branding. That's why there's so many insurance commercials. There's so many car insurance commercials, because they're all technically giving you the same thing. And since there is no difference between Geico and Progressive, there is no difference. They're giving the same product. They have to spice it up by saying, hey, we're going to give you this and that. And we're going to combo your house and your stuff, and you're going to put it all together, and they're going to put it in a little package. So you're going to save 12%. And it's the same damn thing. There's no difference between what they're giving you. But they can't tell you that. So they have to create a green cartoon lizard, or a caveman, or a weird lady and her weird family, that then you pick the one you like the best. Drug commercials are killing me. Now I'm just ranting.
The difference is, are you going to listen to a woman named Flo or a gecko?
Exactly. They're giving you the same product. Exactly the same. They use the same actuarial tables and the same math and the same percentages of people who survive this and don't survive that, and who's at risk and shit like that. There's no difference. So it's all branding. And then...
Or a guy that personifies chaos.
Or the guy that personifies chaos, which, I mean, he's just one of those companies, you know? Or an emu, you know? It's all exactly the same.
In a pragmatic sense, if there's no more room for improvement, then it's true capitalism has nothing to offer, no systemic improvement to be had.
And we won't know we're there. I'm not saying we are there. I'm not suggesting we are, but we could, I think, get there at some point. And once we get to where the diminishing returns, I think it's called, when you're playing WoW and you stack agility, you have to stop stacking agility at some point.
But to declare that is often hubris, since no one will ever want a computer with more than 3 megabytes of RAM.
It's true. I am being hubristic when I say that.
Night, y'all.
I recognize that. Good night, KBP. Thanks for coming. You stayed up late tonight, didn't you? And it is hubristic of me to say so. You're right. And I'm just guessing that at some point we'll get to that point. And hopefully we see that we are at that point before things go wrong. That's what Andrew Yangelstein was suggesting to us, that that brick wall is coming, is what he was trying to tell us. And even if it isn't coming, even if you're off by a few minutes on guessing when that brick wall will be there, you could do a lot of damage in those few minutes, you know? So let's prepare for the brick wall. We're going to hit a brick wall at some point. We're going to hit a brick wall someday. Let's prepare for it now. I don't like most of the things that he had to say, but that was a good one. Damn. Knocked out 30 hit points in a row. And we were at 3 things there. Okay. All right. We did good. We didn't kill the Dracula, but we did pretty good. All right.
Have you ever watched FMA?
You've opened an entire can of worms there, Mr. Popog, because this might sound like a heresy, but I think FMA 03 is better than Brotherhood. This makes many people angry when I tell them this, but I think it is. The Full Metal Alchemist that came on
You're
in
right.
2003. I appreciate that. Thank you. You know how many people on the internet disagree with us? Lots.
Waldo just got canceled.
I just got canceled. It's true. Why would you say such a thing, Waldo? It's true. Yeah, the one that came out in 2003, I think, was a much better version. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, their version of Wrath and
I always watch the
Sloth
first
were way
like
better.
dozen episodes or wherever the crossover point is when I watch FMAB. The pacing is so much better.
Yeah, it is a slower, more depressing. It's depressing as hell. It's a downer. All of FMA, I'll call them 03 and Brotherhood from here on. So 03, there's way big time downer. I like that. Like that. There we go. It's a big downer.
You remember Martin Shkreli? He must have crossed someone to get in trouble doing something everyone in Big Pharma does without resistance.
Yeah, and
The
I think
2003 anime did an amazing job of submitting to their own storyline and developing an actual story instead of only leaning on filler while they wait for the manga artist.
Yeah, I think you're right. Martin Shkreli did get in trouble. He pushed it too far. So that's what happens is in this game of capitalism. If you do too much of that end stage, late game capitalism stuff, you get in trouble, and the people will come for you. But yeah, the 2003 job did a really good job, and I think it had better homunculi too. In 03, how did you kill the homunculi? Well, 1, you went and found a piece of them, and then 2, you used alchemy on them. This was a good plan. This was a good strategy, and they were created by people doing alchemy. Lust was created by a guy who wanted his wife to come back to life. He did it for lustful reasons. We don't know how gluttony was created, but envy was created with envy in your heart when he was doing it. And sloth was created by the Elric brothers because they wanted someone to take care of them, to do the things for them. They're not wrong to want that, but they did it with slightly impure hearts. And I know they're just boys, but they didn't want to grow up, so they wanted to stay being kids, and they needed a mother for that. So, and Sloth is a fantastic character. Man, good lord. Sloth is a fantastic character in 03. Then you get that fantastic scene of Ed digging up her grave with his bare hands to grab a bone so he can go and kill the fake Sloth. Oh, man. I was feeling it. You know?
Anime was the salvation against propaganda. Now that starting to change, eventually I will have nothing to watch. Xerxes is pretty cool though. Love me some Dwarf in the Flask.
I did not like the Dwarf in the Flask. I never did, and that's just because I liked the story of 03 so much. That the Dwarf in the Flask and this guy, and these are just parts of him. These are just the 7 deadly sins that are all a part of him, and you kill them just by killing them. I think Mustang killed one by snapping again and again and again and again and again until it was dead. It wasn't as good to me. I liked the fact that they were created in 03. They were created by alchemy, and they had to be killed by it. And you had to have one of their body parts, their original body parts. I think that is a good system. It's almost like rules, and the whole damn stupid show is about rules, man. The rules of alchemy, the laws of equivalent exchange, you know. And it was nice that their deaths had to have laws involved as well.
There is no justice on the battlefield.
I'm sure Xerxes and the dwarf have some sort of laws involved with them, but I don't remember what they were because I was just staring at it with my eyebrow up the whole time.
Anyway, the reason I bring it up is because of a part at the end of FMAB.
Mm-hmm. Where they all become socialists? I don't remember that part. Which part?
Do you remember the part where Lady Armstrong joins the baddies? Spoilers.
Yeah, I don't remember, but it's years old. You can spoil it for everybody in chat. It's the #1 anime my anime list, you know, like,
What'll it be?
and it's
Hotshot?
10 years old, so you're allowed to spoil it all day long if you want. Chain line, here we go. I don't remember specifically when she went to the baddies. I don't remember. Did she join their side or break everything?
Anyway, she pretends to join the baddies and one of them starts giving a speech on why the rules against human transmutation really exist.
And was it so they don't get too strong?
And she's like, is it because you don't want people to die?
And he was like, no, we love it when they die.
And he's like, no, it's because then you could make an army and challenge the state.
No, don't challenge the state. I do remember a lot of mixed political messages from those shows. I wouldn't say that they were bad political messages, just a little bit mixed up here and there.
I think there's an important truth buried in this.
That the state doesn't want you to challenge them, so they want you to stay down, stay weak, stay at home playing video games. Don't read. Kind of a Fahrenheit 451 situation.
People are only valuable to the state or to any system for that matter because they actually produce to that system. Join the Discord to send links and suggestions. https discord gg benyet tridix 8.
People are only valuable to the state.
What's a government without anyone to govern?
Yeah. I mean, you gotta have the people, right? Or else it doesn't work. People are only valuable to the state, or any system for that matter, because they actually produce to that system. I don't know. That only valuable if they're producing something?
Systems are truly amoral, and yes, you gotta have the people for now.
Yeah, you gotta have the people for now. I don't think that anybody is suggesting we don't have people. I don't think any of the political sides are suggesting less people. But even if we're barely producing anything and only consuming, I mean, at some point, like, that might even reach an equilibrium. And I think that equilibrium, I know, if we want to talk sci-fi, could be obtained with, like, 3D printers. Because this is why I kind of suggest there's the two paths, the Star Trek future or the Mad Max future. And the Star Trek future has just matter printing.
In a world where you don't need people for your state to run Lite, in this imaginary future you only need 100 people to be as economically powerful as the entire country of France.
Okay, so because of the technological advancements that we have and the supercomputers, you can have as much power and economical
3D printing me a girlfriend, BRB.
That's a good idea, Shinsinto, I'm telling you.
I
Yeah.
can start my own functional superpower country with me in my high school class.
Right, and is that not kind of what Elon is suggesting is going to happen? That's kind of a tech bro move right there. If anybody's going to do that, it's not going to be the government. It's not going to be Sleepy Joe Biden. It's going to be a tech bro. It's going to be Ramaswamy. It's going to be the Zuck. Oops, what did I hit? Oops. In that situation, if there's nothing for us to do, we would need the UBI. We would need the useless jobs.
So here's the problem: North Korea can also do that, and by that I mean mass exterminate its own people who could ever be a threat to the dear leader.
Wait, so you're a super powerful person now. You've got all the powers of a country. Do you have a military? Or do you have
and they can still run North Korea with only 100 people.
Well, those people those mass extermination of people aren't just going to sit around and take it, and then all the other countries aren't going to take it either. So we need a diplomatic solution, like a United Nations, that could prevent that from happening. If Kim Jong-un, or is it Il these days, if Kim Jong-il could run his country and be as powerful as he is with only 100 people, he would just let them starve. I don't think he would willingly and intentionally go out and exterminate them all, because that looks bad. People don't like to be exterminated. They do tend not to like that. And they like to fight against it.
Kim Jong-un is the current.
Yeah, I always forget which one's which. Kim Jong-il was his dad, yeah. He wouldn't murder all the people. He'd make them better. If he had the ability to run his entire country with just 100 people, he'd hire 105 and go even higher and go even farther beyond, and then give that to those people, and then he'd talk about how great he is.
My point is that North Korea could murder them all and it would still function right.
If North Korea could murder them all and it would still function at the levels of function, sure. If you've got a system of these 100 people do this 100 thing and this is the product that we get, you could just ignore them. Wouldn't it be easier to ignore them? Murder sounds like a lot of work. Yeah, murdering millions of people is a hell of a job. He could ignore them. He could abandon them without doing a whole lot. He could neglect them.
Murder isn't yet much work in a world where 100 people can produce the full economic output of France.
Of course it is. Murder is a hell of a job.
Especially for only 100 people.
Murder is one hell of a job. It takes a lot of effort. Humans survive carpet bombings. They run away from those kinds of things. They dodge the kill squads. And here your kill squads are going to be made up of people. Unless they've got robots. Unless he's got all the robots doing all the work. You're going to have people involved. And people don't take real kindly.
Germany was able to murder like 10 million, and that was back in the 40s, nowhere near the economic output of modern France.
And how many people survived that? All the rest of them. The worst, most horrible genocide we've ever seen in the entire history of the world. And we're still here. There's still 9 billion people on the planet. People are shockingly resilient. They will leave, and you won't be able to stop them. And your 100 people with as much power as France still won't be able to stop them. Also, they'll just be overrun by masses and masses of people. I think I see where you're going with this, but I will play along. Okay, great. You're right. I should accept the premise. Some terrible person, similar to Kim Jong-un, can do all of this stuff with only 100 people. He's staffed himself in a bunker with those 100 people, and they are going to systematically eliminate the people of a country, a middling country, sort of like in North Korea.
I am just saying I don't think people realize that Star Trek people just work for their passions, and Fun World carries a massive unacknowledged systemic risk.
Star Trek people just work for their passions, and Fun World carries a massive unacknowledged systemic risk. Which is what? What's the huge risk? That the Starfleet could just murder a bunch of people? Well, then the other Starfleet people that are upset with them would shoot at them.
Which is that if you aren't valuable, you are disposable.
That goes the exact opposite way. Because you are alive, you are valuable. You instill people in the idea that life is valuable, even if they aren't producing anything. Because I think that even a life that isn't producing anything is valuable. I wouldn't suggest that we murder somebody because they aren't producing anything valuable. I don't think that's a good idea. And I don't even live on a starship with matter printing food replicators, you know? We'll have Elmo teach it to them. Or SpongeBob. But not in Florida, I assume. They don't let you have good moral teachings unless it came from the Bible in Florida. And the reason I mentioned Star Trek is just because, like, that seems like
Yeah, what you're
answer
talking
to a lot of
about
our stuff.
applies to humans not don't have brains like us. Just like systemic racism can cause bad things without a single person thinking a racist thought. In this hypothetical, Florida fell into the ocean.
Is that fell into the ocean? Well, that might be a thing that happened. There will be struggle, Bopog, in the changing of the guard, in the moving past these things. The next economic shift, whatever it might be, will leave some people behind. I'm not happy about that. I just recognize that it will probably happen. Systemic racism can cause bad things without a single person thinking a racist thought. Yeah, and the risk exists regardless of human belief about the sanctity of life. Well, sure, but that's why you have people looking at the systems and telling you where the flaws are. If there's a systemic racism problem, and a college professor finds evidence for it, points at it,
I am not talking about the changing of the guard. I am talking about the risks that exist in the New World Order after it's fully applied.
Of course it does. The world we have now has risks, and we're mitigating them as best we can. But at some point, you do have to move forward. We can't stay at this point forever. And also, there's people who aren't happy with the system we have now because they don't think it's working for them. Yes, there will be risks. You're right. I agree. But I think it's brave of us to try and move forward anyway.
Sure, there are risks here and there, near and far, green eggs and ham.
And there's also it's a lot safer for me to just stay at home forever. But then I wouldn't get to, live life. You're putting forward a pretty conservative argument. That's okay. That's why I like you. That's why I want you to be here. You're right.
Getting out of bed has risks, so does staying in bed.
So we have to determine what...
It is not for death to...
We have to come to a conclusion. We have to think about the future, come up with a plan, and move towards something that is
I am
better.
just saying this risk is of a particular concern because people respond just like you did, saying life is sacred because my heart feels it. I am fine with all that and I believe you.
But the problem would be that I would support
but your
a
heart
system.
is the system.
Heart isn't the system. Politics is feelings, boss. All of it. Always has been. Politics is based on feelings. Everything is political, and politics is based on feelings. It's kind of the whole thesis behind the show. The politicians and the government and the system does what we feel. We felt like black people weren't whole people at one point, and so we only counted them as 3/5 of a person. That's a system. That's the feeling we had. We felt like we had racist feelings, and then systemic racism was put in place. We had feelings and if we have feelings towards the sanctity of your life, then the system will reflect that. The system is made up of people. And if we're smart about it, if we pay attention to the systems, we can determine what flaws they have. And when smart people tell us what this thing has a flaw, we can try to mitigate it. Systemic racism is real. It's a thing. And it didn't happen because we wanted it to. It has been pointed out by certain people, and a lot of people don't accept it because of the implications, And if we're smart, we would look at the evidence, determine whether or not it's real, and then try to come up with a plan for it. And that leads me to the other stupid little saying that I have all the time on the thing, and that's that if you want the politics is just like driving a car. You put it in D to go forward, and you put it R to go backwards. So what you do is you hire a bunch of Ds and you tell them, hey, let's move forward. They move forward, and if we do a bad job, if we go the wrong way, if we go down a pathway we don't like, we put it in R to go backwards. Because I don't think that Republicans or conservatives don't have a purpose. They do. And it's to bring us back if we go too far. And I don't think that's what we need right now. Right now, we're not going far enough. We're being stagnant. Don't be so stagnant. Not you specifically, but conservatives in general.
Do you believe it's possible to have a system where both are true, people aren't valuable to the system, and people consider human life is valuable?
Where both are true. People aren't valuable to the system, and people consider human life as valuable. I don't think that first one would happen. People aren't valuable to the system. The system doesn't function without the people. The socialist government would have to have shitloads of people. A socialist government to run that decommodification of healthcare means that people are going to have to be putting in claims and going to doctors and getting that stuff paid for, and the doctors are going to have to be paid, and then all those insurance workers are going to move over to the government system so that they can file all those claims and figure all these things out and help with the administration of these funds, so that we're not, and then checking for fraud, waste, and abuse is again a thing that requires shitloads of people. The healthcare industry, as it is now, is massive. Even if you just do the health insurance is massive companies, gigantic companies filled with thousands and thousands of people. And those people would have to be government workers because we want them. We want them to come and give us their expertise. So then the rest of the healthcare stuff would have to be done by people who are running the system. The people aren't going anywhere. I don't think that socialism leads to a depopulation.
I am not applying this question to socialism.
Okay.
Yet.
Sorry. Yet. Okay. The people aren't valuable to the system, and the people consider human life as valuable. You can't. I don't think you can do both of those. I don't know what system says that people aren't valuable to the system. I've never heard of such a system. I can't think of what system would do that. So those are competing ideas. I would not say that you could hold both of them.
Imagine a Sim City world where people are a resource that make your city all cool and stuff, get you more money, and build your sim hospitals. And stuff.
And stuff. Okay. So you would want more of them, yeah? Is that what you're headed towards?
So you want more and more, yeah.
Okay. That's an interesting system that I would be cool with, because they're making art, and everybody likes art, and they're making the TV shows that you like, and they're making the music that you want to listen to and stuff like that, and they're making live streams where you could click on the thumbs up button and the follow button, and you could turn frogs gay. Like this guy. Vaccine doesn't work as a
Now
follower
imagine
now.
you get to a point where the rules change, you unlock the AI tech tree, and the people stop being a resource.
Mm-hmm. So you've unlocked the AI tech tree, and you're saying that the people are no longer a resource.
Or at least stop being a positive resource.
I can't even imagine such a system. I don't think such a system would even exist.
They now drain your cash.
Nah, they wouldn't exist. That system doesn't function. That system doesn't exist. The AI system doesn't get rid of people. It gets rid of some of the jobs that we've done. If those people could be fed by the AI system, then they would be fed.
I literally just made it up.
Okay. Well, I can't.
In SimCity.
In SimCity. Okay. In SimCity, you've gotten to the point where you don't need the people anymore.
I am the SimCity programmer.
Okay. You don't need the people anymore. There's no benefit to having them. I don't think you'd go around murdering them. I don't think any system would murder them, because then the people would be pissy and they would tear that system down, like immediately. So you just ignore them.
More like shit city.
You wouldn't have to go around murdering them. You would just ignore them. You would neglect them, and you know what would happen? The system would keep being the system, and the people would just make really cool anime avatars. There'd be more streamers.
Most
We'd all
of my
watch
cities
stuff.
do end up as shit city. Plumbing is hard.
Plumbing is hard. It's true. I don't think we would get to that level of Kim Jong-un murdering everybody that you had mentioned. I think it would just be a small government that would just function and just spin, and people would pay not attention
But I
to
think
it.
you're being overly optimistic. I would totally kill my Sims for cash.
To what end? You don't need to. If you've got this self-sustaining government system that only needs like 100 people, and those 100 people are there, and
To
they're happy
build
to
my
be there
spaceport
to
faster.
build your spaceport faster. To what end? And the minute you did, the people would turn on you. They would revolt, and they would tear your system down.
You type pretty fast, dude.
If your system is unhuman, the humans will break it. If your system is inhuman, that's a better, inhuman. If your AI system is inhuman, they will tear it down.
So I can turn this into a 4X game.
Well, they're gonna fight against you. They're not gonna go quietly into the night. They're gonna turn on you. They're clever little monkeys, these humans. They will find a way to make
The
you
US
miserable.
made Venezuela a poor country.
The U.S. made Venezuela a poor country? I don't know enough
Sims are
about it.
pretty weak, especially against my AI drone strikes.
Entirely possible, but they will overwhelm you at some point, hopefully. And yeah, you're talking Terminator 2 Judgment Day there. Even the Terminators couldn't get rid of all the people. All the people were still living like rats under the thing. I'm not pushing for that, but I'm suggesting it's far harder to eliminate humanity than you're making it out to be.
Popog is building a socialist society and then wants the number go up like capitalism.
That's not socialism
Terminator
anymore.
2 is one of my favorite documentaries.
Terminator 2 is one of your favorite
Skynet
documentaries?
more like shitnet.
More like shitnet, right? They couldn't even kill all the people. People are stupid. I mean, if artificial intelligence exists, so must artificial stupidity. And Skynet was artificial stupidity. It couldn't even pull it off. Had robots walking around on two legs. Idiots.
The US is funding the gangster dictator of Nicaragua.
Are they? That's frightening. What's his name?
Join the Discord to send links and suggestions. https Discord GG Beignet Tritix 8.
All right, I'm getting ready to get out of
Nicaragua
here. I know.
Jim.
Nicaragua Jim. That's a cool guy.
John Connor.
John Connor. That's his name. This is so cool. I appreciate the new guys, but it's 9 o'clock.
Daniel
It's
Ortega.
time for me to knock off. I'll look up Daniel Ortega. Who is he? I don't know. He's apparently the gangster dictator of Nicaragua. South American politics is always a mess, and the more
Knock it off, Waldo.
the more America gets
I
involved,
thought it was Cocaine Mike.
it's bad. The more they get involved in South America, the worse it gets. So quit getting involved in South America. I agree. Not a good call. Nobody can pull that off. They have their own brand of fiery rebellion down there. So don't get involved in it. So I don't know that much about it, but I am American. I'm a fat, stinking imperialist pig, so I don't know that much about South America. I can look into Daniel Ortega, see what that is.
Have a good night, y'all.
I appreciate you coming in, Popog. Everybody who is here, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming. I will be back on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock PST. Press the thumbs up, press the like buttons, press the sub buttons, press the follow buttons. You can turn a frog gay if you do.
There's also a green button. but
There's also a
I'm
green
not allowed
button?
to tell you about that.
Oh.
It's under NDA.
My local wizard has just stopped by and
Press all your buttons.
press all the buttons. And I will be back.
Canooch button.
The Canooch button. I will be back on Wednesday at about 7 o'clock. Until then, if you want to put any stories in to the Discord, you can do that there.
Disord. Canooch
Disord.
that dial.
Maybe I spell it right. Did I do it wrong again? Or did I fail? I think I just dropped or
Discord.
something. Yeah.
https Discord GG Beignet Tritix 8.
She does it the second time. I'm going to scream. Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Have a good night, and I will see you on Wednesday. Goodbye.
Socials.
I didn't fix that yet. Oh, hi. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video. The algorithm loves it when you watch it all the way to the end of the video. If you want to keep the algorithm happy, and I know you do, press the subscribe button, press the thumbs up button, leave a comment, tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're feeling, and let's all keep that algorithm happy. Thanks. Have a good day.